Today on the channel, Jakks Classic Superstars 3-packs, Walmart exclusive, Series 9. Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for our weekly deep dive into the Jakks Classic Superstars series. Can you believe we are about at a year of these videos? We still got a long ways to go. We still got all the deluxe aggressions. We got some of the cosplay stuff. We got all the exclusives, going from the 1 of 25s, 1 of 100s, Ringside Fest, Toy Con, Pro Figures, you name it. Tons of exclusives to talk about. Some of the box sets still to go. Long story short, we got a lot of videos to go. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit the old notification bell, as you don't want to miss one of these videos. They launch every single Tuesday afternoon until we can't anymore. And we still, like I said, got a long ways to go. And we've done a ton of videos already. We've got the single packs, the 2-packs. We're in the 3-packs. We did the Ring Giants. And a few miscellaneous videos along the way. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you check it all out, and a lot more good stuff to come on the channel, Classic Superstars wise. But today we're talking Classic Superstars Series 9, the 3-packs, as you guys know, a Walmart exclusive. Two sets, always, or two sets of figures in each set, in each wave at Walmart. And like I said, exclusive to Walmart, at least in the United States. Interesting, we've talked about each week's videos, the highs and the lows. Sometimes they're really easy to get, sometimes really hard to get. Sometimes we've had weeks where the sets were very hard to get minty. As we all know, that star can pose a problem for us mint-on-card collectors, especially in the Jakks days, with these stars were so easily damaged, especially at Walmart. But Series 9 is a set that was a middle of the road. It seemed to be, my memories at least, trying to jog back. I found this at my local Walmart very close to my house, which was a nice change of pace, not having to travel for something. I was still on the road pretty heavily for work at this time, so I was visiting a few different states and checking out the Walmarts. You know how it goes. We've talked about it in the past. And I remember seeing this one hit. It seemed to hit in the Midwest in one wave, and that was it. There was no clearance. There was no stragglers. It seemed like it just came and went, and that's my memories of this set. I always love to know what's going on in the toy world where you guys were. How were the stores stocked on this one back in the day for you? Let me know in the comments if you had trouble getting this or if it was easy. It seemed to be like, oh, this is going to be a really easy set to get, as I remember getting it at the Walmart by my house. I remember saw it at a couple other Walmarts in town. And then a couple weeks later, gone, never to be seen again is how this set went. So it's always interesting, the dynamics of how these are distributed out at the Walmart stores for the 3-packs. But we're going to talk about this one first. We're going to talk about the Rhythm and Blues 3-pack. Greg the Hammer Valentine, Jimmy Hart, and of course the Honky Tonk Man. Talk about a colorful package. I love this package. Probably one of my favorite 3-packs from the entire line. But we're going to do it like we normally do it. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it and then see where it goes from there. And that's what we're going to do with this. Like I said, Rhythm and Blues, going all the way back to the Hasbro days. I wanted a Rhythm and Blues tag team. Of note here, I believe at this current time, this is the only wide-released Greg the Hammer Valentine that has black hair. I really wish we would have got the jumpsuit with this one. We did not, unfortunately. Or not the jumpsuit, the kind of leather jacket, that white one. As we've seen in the Greg Hammer Valentine prototype from the Hasbro days. I'll never forget, back to the Hasbro days, quick story, you know, on the back of that Toys R Us and the magazine showing Greg Valentine, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I gotta find it. Never could find it. This is pre-internet. Could never find that Valentine. I figured it existed. I figured it just didn't hit my area. Same thing happened with the Nasty Boys. I remember seeing those. For some reason, and I have no idea why, they never hit any stores around me. And my dad and I were in stores on a very regular basis back in those days. We could never find the Nasty Boys. So strange, and I thought it was just like Greg Valentine. They just never hit here, or they didn't exist. Years later, you get the internet, and you see people have the Nasty Boys. I'm like, how is this possible? How did I never have them? And those Nasty Boys are two of the best Hasbro figures, especially in the tag team series ever. Playability on those two is next level. And I just miss my childhood. What could have been if I could have had the Steiners versus the Nasty Boys in my Hasbro Fig Fed? My life would be totally different right now. I'd probably be living in Jamaica. I'd be a billionaire. I think that was the catapult that stopped that, I have to think. But somebody can correct me if I'm wrong there. But Anyways, long story short, I wish we could have got the jacket with this Greg the Hammer Valentine. It really is the only thing that's missing. And truth be told, out of all the Honky Tonk Man figures that have ever been released, this is my favorite Honky Tonk Man. I absolutely love this one. But let's take a look at the packaging first, before I get too long-winded into it. You got 2 guitars, that's awesome. You got Honky in his jumpsuit. You got Greg Valentine looking a little bit plain. Like I said, we needed that jacket. And then you got the Mouth South Jimmy Hart just looking awesome. I love that bright pink attire. It just pops. How much better would this set have been if Greg had his leather jacket, that white jacket? Oh, just so close but so far. But I absolutely love this set. Jimmy Hart, no stranger to the line. Honky Tonk Man, no stranger to the line. Valentine, no stranger to the line. But just a classic set. And like I said, possibly my favorite Classic Superstars 3-pack set that they've produced. There they all. They lined up for that picture. They were proud. They were proud of Rhythm and Blues. Great team. I thought very underrated. I enjoyed them. I've always been a Honky Tonk Man fan. I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I loved him as a kid. You know, I loved it when the Ultimate Warrior beat him for the Intercontinental title, of course, but I love the Honky Tonk Man. I remember we had music class back in the day, and once a month we all got to bring in a song to play in our elementary music class. You know I was bringing in the Honky Tonk Man's theme song. I did. Everybody's like, what is this? What is this kid listening to? I'm listening to the Honky Tonk Man. That's what I'm listening to. Leave me alone. But just beautiful packaging on this one. I mean, this is just fabulous. The color pops. Like I said earlier, too, the Honky Tonk Man, I think this is my favorite Honky Tonk Man figure of all time. The blue jumpsuit is so iconic to me. I just love how this one looks. And then recently, I want to say a couple years ago, we did get this one from Mattel. So I brought this along to show the old Retro Fest Mattel one. Beautiful. The same jumpsuit and everything else, but for one of the rare instances, and some of you guys might disagree with me, I love the Jakks Classic Superstars more. I think the color pops. It's a brighter blue. It's more eye-grabbing than the Retrofest one. I do love the Retrofest one. I'm glad they gave us this. I love this Retrofest packaging as well. One of these days, once we're done with the Classic Superstars videos, I'm going to do some other deep dive videos. We'll probably eventually jump into all of the Mattel Elites. That's quite the task, but in between that time, we might do a couple of Bone Cruncher sets, maybe the Retrofest set, maybe a couple other sets out there, just to kind of make something different for a while before we get knee-deep into Mattel. I mean, you're almost to 100 Mattel sets. I mean, we're over 100 Mattel Elite sets when you count the Royal Rumbles, the WrestleMania sets, and some of those kind of things. So, I mean, that's basically over 2 years, and then they keep going. So we're looking at probably 3 years worth of videos. We're going to be locked in for a pretty long time, so we better knock out some of these ancillary sets like the Retrofest line. But love that they did this in the Mattel line, but it just didn't hold a candle to this Jakks Classic Superstars one for me. I just love the coloring on this, and like I said before, just that purple and blue there together, it just looks a little weird with Greg. If you block Greg here, how cool is that? How colorful is that package? And then you just kind of get plain with Greg Valentine. It's just interesting how that went. How about the back? On the back, they have them no robes, no nothing. I mean, basically, Honky and Greg, they're just ready to wrestle. And then you got Jimmy Hart, so no accessories, anything else there. We got the Rock Family 3-pack. We'll talk about them next. And then you got the glamour shots of the guys up there, little blurbs and all that kind of fun stuff. Let's read it. I would love to get this Greg Valentine and this Honky Tonk Man loose. I don't know why until this moment I've never thought about getting these loose, and I'm kind of shocked because I love this Honky Tonk Man so much. But this Greg Valentine especially, since there was no Greg Valentine in the Mattel with black hair, at least not as of yet, I really do need this whole pack loose. So I'm going to be on the lookout. I'm going to put that in my eBay save searches. It'd be great if I could find a really damaged packaging one. But if I find a loose one, I got to find a loose one. But I got to figure that out. I got to write this wrong that I'm seeing right here. Jimmy Hart, debuted 1974, height 5'10". I don't think he was 5'10", was he? It seems a little tall. Titles, WWE Manager, WWE Hall of Fame inductee. Greg Valentine debuted 1968, 244 pounds, 6'1", finishing move, the figure 4 leg lock. Titles, World Tag Team Champion, WWE Intercontinental Champion, WWE Hall of Fame inductee. Funny thing about Greg Valentine as a kid, I watched NWA with Ric Flair, and I knew the figure 4, but for some reason, as little Kyle thought Greg Valentine had the most destructive figure 4. Maybe it's a lot to do with that Ron Garvin angle, you know, where he turned that knee brace or was it shin guard? He turned that around to put extra pressure. For whatever reason, kudos WWF, I guess, at the time, as they made little Kyle believe that the most dangerous figure 4 of all time was Greg the Hammer Valentine's figure 4, even over Ric Flair's or anybody else that used it, Dusty Rhodes, you know, that kind of stuff. Greg Valentine made it destructive to me. And then that was the first time watching Greg Valentine do it. You know, he kind of did it in slow motion, where Rick kind of did that quick turnaround. I remember practicing it on my sister. It was a great time. Honky Tonk Man, 1979 debut, 271 pounds, 6'1", finishing move, the old shake, rattle, and roll. Titles, WWE Intercontinental Champion. Some would say the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. And his favorite quote would also be, "I'm the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time." So, you know, that fits perfect. There we go. We're on the same wavelength here. Looking at the back, too, they didn't put the jumpsuits on him on the prototype, so the hands the same. Hands look to be the same. Greg Valentine looks a lot like Chief Jay Strongbow in the face in this one, too, with the black hair. But I tell you what, a solid set, a very underrated set, a bit of a forgotten set. Rhythm and Blues, a great moment in time. I love these 3-packs. I wish we could get some Mattel 3-packs of some classic duos like this and the Demolitions of the world. And, you know, tag teams with their manager or Bobby Heenan and a couple of his guys. I'd love to see more of that. Branch it out, make it an Amazon exclusive, make it a ringside exclusive, something along them lines. I understand the price points is what probably worries them out on the shelf, but I'd love to see some classic 3-packs, some classic 2-packs, something like that along those lines. Single cards are great, but there's something magical about 2-packs and 3-packs. I think we all understand and know. So there you go. So there it is, the Rhythm and Blues 3-pack. Now we got to talk about the Maivia family. All right, next up in Series 9, the Walmart exclusives, we got the Maivia family 3-pack. How cool would this be if you're The Rock and you get a packaged figure set with your dad and your grandpa? How cool would that be? It makes me wonder, does Rock know this set even exists? Did he even care? Does he know anything about it? For me, that would be such a cool thing to get my dad, my grandpa, and me in a 3-pack. And people would buy it, people collect it. I just imagine that being a really, really cool thing. And if I'm The Rock, this would probably be my favorite figure I ever had. That's just what this represents. Represents generations of wrestling superstars, the history of him, basically how he came to be. So it's a pretty cool set, a pretty cool moment in time that we don't get a lot of this stuff from. Interestingly enough, as you guys saw in our tag team videos of Class Superstars, they did a little bit of this too. We got Jim and Natty Neidhart. We got Bob and Randy Orton. We got Ted Sr., Ted Jr. together. Was that it? I think that's it. But just those father-son, father-daughter packs, and then a big father-son pack here, I thought was just tremendous. I think that was a tremendous idea, and I'm glad they did that. So like I said, I hope The Rock has this in his collection. This would be something to have pretty cool, to remember back to your history and where you've come from. Maybe that's just me, but just like the Honky Tonk Man, I remember seeing this one. It was out there. Picked it up and never to see again. And it was funny, this one didn't really increase in value for a long time. And I do believe that was because we had so many Rock figures back in the day. People were like, yeah, it's The Rock. I already have a bunch of Rocks. Rocky Johnson was released in a 2-pack with Tony Atlas, which we talked about on the channel. Then he also had a solo card release. So I think a lot of people said, well, I don't really need the Rocky Johnson. It's just, I've ever got 2 of them. I don't need a third one. Yeah, he's in blue tights, but not enough meat on the bone there for me. And then High Chief Peter Maivia is just such an old timer out there. Even back then in 2005, 2006. Let's see, what year did this come out? 2007. 2007, even kids my age, and I guess I was like 26 years old or so when this came out. But the certain demographic that was buying these, they didn't know High Chief Peter Maivia. I'm a bit of a wrestling historian. I've seen everything. I've lived it. I've watched wrestling continuously without breaks since I was like 5, 6 years old. So I got a pretty good understanding of everybody that's ever made the big time and wrestled, of course. And even Peter Maivia, I can probably count only a couple of matches I've seen of him just because it's such a long forgotten days when he was around. So I can see a lot of people passing on this saying, well, I don't even know who that is. I got Rocks. I got a Rocky Johnson. I don't need this. Well, many, many moons later, as you can see now, this set is a very valuable pack. As High Chief Peter Maivia, will we ever get another figure of him? I just don't see it happening, but you guys never know. And that Mattel Collector's Edition is a store exclusive, made in a little less quantities. I don't think this would jump off the shelf very well. We've seen that with some of the other ones, the Mae Youngs of the world, even Superstar Billy Graham, guys that have a lot of name value still, somewhat. They don't really jump off the pegs. I don't know how High Chief Peter Maivia would do, but it would be cool. It would be warranted. I'd like to see it in a Mattel Elite, and it would help bring the cost of this set down, I would have to imagine, for either good or bad. I will say I did pick up a loose version of the High Chief Peter Maivia back in the day. As I knew, I didn't feel like when Mattel Elites got rolling for a while, I did go back and I said, who are some characters I feel Mattel will never make that were in the Classic Superstars line? And I've smoke and mirrors, put them in some of my Elite Detolfs here, and the High Chief was one of those. I said, I just don't feel we'll get one, so I probably better get this while I can. And that's what I did. I got this for like $10 5 years ago, let's say it was, something like that. Very cool figure. It comes with this lei that's removable here on it. It comes with a nice skirt. I mean, this is a true labor of love here. Not a ton of reuse here. This is, you know, his tattoo works on there on his legs and everything else. You can see he stands up really great. But I did have to pick this up, and I'm glad I did, because the prices on this one have skyrocketed, and to get him complete with the lei around his neck is extremely difficult to do, as you can imagine. So I'm glad I have a loose one. I didn't get the Rock. I didn't get this Rocky Johnson. But I did get the High Chief loose. So there you go, a little backstory there. But there it is right there. High Chief is definitely the jewel of the set. I always felt he was the jewel back then, and he's still the jewel now. Rock, we've had a million Rocks over the years. And like I said, Rocky Johnson, we've had a few of them. But there they are. They got their names down below, and we got the Classic Superstars logo up top. You got that beautiful star we love so much, and we hate at the same time. And we've talked about it before, there's nothing worse than finding a new set of Classic Superstars back in the day, or opening up that case off the pallet, and the excitement's there. You're like, yes, I found the new set. And then you see everything is crushed. The whole top, the star's bent over. There's no coming back from it. You're just like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. I want to say it was Series 14 single card release that was extremely difficult to find. I think that was a set with Brother Love in it, and I think Luna Vachon and Ernie Ladd. And Luna Vachon and Ernie Ladd were in only so many cases. They were extremely hard to find. And I found a couple of cases, and it was on the rural roads. I found those, and they would just be destroyed every time. And I'd say, I'm going to pass it up. I'm not going to get it. I'll get it next time. And next time never came. They moved on to the other series. I ended up getting it off of eBay for not a ton more than store price, but you guys know you hate paying anything, especially on new figures. You want to pay retail. You don't have to overpay, but could not find these guys mint. That's just one of the worst things with the Classic Superstars, and it does add some challenge in the hunt back in the day. So there you go. Nothing on the side here, and you got the glamour shot. Very cool. Like I said, The Rock would have to love this pack. I wonder if he knows this even exists. I would hope he does, because this would be something he really should have. I'm sure he could afford one if he needed one. But there you go. You got them on the back down here. And then you got the glamour shots up top. You can see Peter Maivia in the glamour shot down below. Does not have his skirt on, so you can see that beautiful tattoo work they got going on there. Just a very, very solid figure. Very underrated. Probably one of the most underrated Classic Superstars figures, and maybe one of the least known, as it was only released in this 3-pack. We never got another Peter Maivia anywhere along the way. So there you go. Well, let's read the bios on these guys. Let's see what it's saying. Let's see what it's saying about the Rock and family. The Rock debuted 1995, 275 pounds, 6'5", finishing move, the People's Elbow. Titles: Undisputed WWE Champion, WCW Champion, World Tag Team Champion, Intercontinental Champion. And his favorite quote, if you smell what the Rock is cooking. Rocky Johnson debuted 1964, 262 pounds, 6'2", finishing move, the old Boston Crab. And titles: World Tag Team Champion with Mr. Tony Atlas, of course. And then you got the High Chief Peter Maivia. And they got this wrong. Debuted 1969. Well, Rocky Johnson debuted in 64, and he debuted in 69. I don't think so. It's probably more like 1944 or something like that. 270 pounds, 6'3". His finishing move, the Samoan Drop. Titles: United States Champion, NWA World Tag Team Champion. It just ruled Hawaii with an iron fist. He was a god down there, that's for sure. So there it is, the Rock family 3-pack, the Rocky Johnson family 3-pack, Maivia family 3-pack, whatever you want to call it. It's still a cool moment in time set, and something that would have to be special to the Rock and his family. You would have to think, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe they don't care about it, but I definitely would, as I said earlier. So what say you? What say you about Classic Superstar Series 9, the 3-pack Walmart exclusive? Did you have these? Were you on the hunt for them? Did you not know? Were you not collecting back then? Are you on the hunt for them? Do you know how you can find me a mint on card or a loose or something of the 3-pack Honky Tonk Man Rhythm and Blues set? Let me know in the comments your thoughts on these guys. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Like I said at the top of the show, we got videos every single day, including a weekly Jakks Classic Superstars. And we're going to dive into the collection with a few more cool videos to do. So make sure you subscribe on the channel. I think we've got some stuff you guys might enjoy. And then while you're here, make sure you like the video. You've come this far. Make sure you like the video. So for Rhythm and Blues and the whole Maivia clan, I'm Kyle. And guess what? I'll see you guys all real soon.